It's the postseason shuffle. Coaches and gymnasts flying from team to team. Algeria qualified a women's team to the World Championships for the first time ever. Jade Carey is back. Jordyn Wieber, Olympic champion, has left coaching. And Ana Bărbosu is appealing a whereabouts violation. Spencer,
I'm tired already. I'm tired. I can't. I'm so tired already.
It is May the 4th be with you, 2026. And welcome to Gymcastic, #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. And if you missed it, we had a behind the scenes. We came back from vacation, had a behind the scenes on Friday. And if you want to know about what happened or any hubbub, we discussed it. And that is a little trailer for that, little bonus at the end of this episode, or it's also in your podcast feed. All right, the headlines. Let's start with the athletes.
Okay, there's so much. So we'll start with best, like no notes, 10 out of 10 best news. Jade Carey returning.
Yes.
To elite, officially returning. Because I think we all felt like Jade, she's ready.
Right. And Jade, like they basically will just rewrite the rules so you can be on the team. It's going to be fine. You've got this. I'm excited.
Officially, she took her break. Because she's one who's been elite Oregon State, no break for a long time. Well earned year of like everybody cool down, returning to elite. The U.S. team can certainly use her strengths right now. So I think, everything continuing as it always has before, this should go very well for Jade.
I'm very pleased. I'm happy for her. And she was the commencement speaker for Oregon State. I mean, finally, they tapped Jade Carey.
I also love the public speaking glow up that we see from a lot of gymnasts from the days of like, oh, you're like, this is your first interview ever and you're super nervous and you're like, these are words, and 4 for 4 to like, I'm a commencement speaker or I'm like a broadcaster feels very, we've seen the full circle, the full gamut.
We have. So Paris alternate and world team member, world team champion, actually, from 2020 Belgium, Antwerp.
2020 Belgium, the year of 2020 Belgium.
That's right.
Yeah. 2023, I think, was the number you were looking for, but 2020 Belgium is also acceptable. We will accept that as an alternate answer.
Joss Roberson is in the portal, the magical portal where you step in and it goes bloop, 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 and then transports you into the nether regions if you don't have an NCAA team necessarily until one picks you up, or you can be like, nobody found me. Can you please boot me back through the portal and I'll stay with this team? So this is surprising, I think, because she seemed like she was really doing very well, and she went to made the world team with Arkansas. But I also don't think it's that surprising because, you have sort of a time frame of making the best of your NIL opportunities and exposure when you are in the NCAA. And so I think there might be two things, like, how does she maybe get more exposure? And secondly, preparing for LA 28. And as this isn't necessarily related to Jordyn Wieber stepping down, but where do you think she would do the best?
I think that, it definitely feels like a change made with elite in mind. So I would imagine the most likely landing spots would be either Georgia, where Cecile is coaching, or Florida, where they're already coaching plenty of other. You would have elite training partners, and in a system where you're already doing that. So it feels very like given in Joss's statement, it did not sound. It seemed like she was making a point of saying, I wasn't unhappy at Arkansas. At least that's my reading of it without knowing any, inside information. It sounded like she was saying, this is not because there was some horrible behind the scenes drama. Right. Is my read on it.
As opposed to some other athletes that we'll talk about later who were very clear in what they said. She's already visited Florida. I do want to talk here about Cecile in Georgia because the co-head coach.
And we have to talk about, like, also part of this Arkansas situation, the Jordyn Wieber news, which we, got to on behind the scenes a lot, but we need to get to more.
So Cecile had a co-head coach, Ryan. He is now the Auburn head coach. Cecile is now the solo head coach at Georgia and got a big fat pay raise. So now she's making like 250 or 350, 325, something like that over there. So everyone's like, oh, obviously there's, no other coach. There's, she has a coach with her there from Denver. Megan, who was at Woga, moved over there, was a Woga gymnast from the days of when there were Woga gymnasts. I'm pretty sure that's still happening. The Nadia days of Woga. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, obviously, they're making room for Laurent to come in. And I was like, Laurent has very clearly said that he has no interest in coaching college at all. But I can see a scenario where he signs like a 2-year contract and is like, oh, we'll just train the Olympic team here and I don't have to do any of all the other college nonsense. Then yeah, I could do that. Or they could just be like, we have a club team and you coach, you're the club team coach, or something like that. Because honestly, they pay, like, colleges like Georgia pay so well that it may be a hard thing to turn down. But then again, I kind of don't think he'll do it because he just does not seem to have any interest in it. But I can see a scenario where that happens. So then we need to talk about Jordyn Wieber, Olympic champion.
Yeah.
The first Olympic champion to be a head coach with her Olympic champion teammate, Kyla Ross at Arkansas, and Olympian husband, Chris Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
So she is stepping down. She said it is to spend more time with her family and try other things, essentially. Like, what else am I good at?
The very first time that someone has used, I'm leaving this job to spend more time with my family, and it's not a lie. The first time a coach has, because usually it's like, a politician or coach is like, I'm leaving to spend more time with my family, and you're like, what is that code? What scandal is that code for? And this time it's like, oh, I think you're actually leaving to spend more time with your family. Right. Jordyn's reason got ruined by all of the white men who came before her, who ruined, I'm leaving to spend more time with my family, for people who actually want to spend more time with their family.
I am really happy to see a reaction that isn't negative when someone's like, yeah, I had a baby and I want to spend time with this baby and I'd like to be a parent. And she's always said that she wanted to spend more time with her family. And I suspect that eventually they will move to Michigan. But like the fact that she can just pick up and go for a week anytime now, like she's not tied to the schedule of coaching. And so I think Chris Brooks, like, staying and taking the head coaching job is also, and I think because Kyla has no interest in being a head coach, that's not her thing. She's like, bars, there's math, I can do this. Like, the whole recruiting, that's not going to be her deal. She just has to exist and people want to go there. But I think it's like, it says something about them wanting, I think the administration liking what they have created and wanting to keep a through line when you're changing head coaches. Okay, so
to a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So Ryan Roberts was at Georgia, now at Auburn. We have Nebraska. We have a lot. But
yeah, but let's go back.
I'm skipping ahead.
I know. I also, we didn't say what team do you think, if Joss wants the most NIL money, which Arkansas was the first school to, as far as we know, according to Arkansas, have a NIL agency. But I do think that maybe LSU pays the most.
That would have been my first impression.
Yeah.
But if you have elite aims, we haven't seen a lot of. We've seen a little bit. Aaliyah Finnegan did elite. Connor keeps getting injured, and having that ruin everything. But has pursued it. But they haven't been going to like U.S. camps with athletes.
Yeah, and Connor tried and then was injured immediately, like in warm up. So I think, yeah, I would keep that in mind. But yeah. I don't know where she would. I'd like her to go somewhere where she's the absolute star too, on the team. But has that really good elite coaching, which I'm like, okay, well, Georgia again. Okay. The most exciting thing.
If Cecile even wants to be involved with USAG anymore, shout out to our live show from December where maybe she doesn't.
She was like, hell no. Yeah, when I talked to her on the floor at NCAAs too, I was just like, she's like, I'm just so happy. Like, I enjoy this so much. And that's part of like, I wonder, we talked about that too. I wonder if she's talking to Laurent, seeing her have this like resurgence of love for gymnastics again. Like she's having her college gymnastics experience that she never got as an elite. And maybe he's like, oh, there is a joy of this that I have not experienced. And maybe I will if I do college. But then again, I don't see him going there, but you never know. Algeria.
Yes. We need to talk about big news. Other big news. Yeah.
Qualified a team to Worlds for the first time ever at African Championships. This is gigantic. It's massive. Yeah. It's huge. How did they do it?
So we had among the meets that occurred while all the NCAA was happening in NCAA Nationals was the African Championships. There's one team quota spot available at the African Championships for both a men's team and a women's team for whoever wins the team competition. Algeria won the team title, thanks in large part to one Olympic champion, Nemour, who won 5 gold medals. Team all the ones she was going for, team all around, bars, beam, floor. The only one she did not win was vault because she did not perform 2 vaults, but dominated the competition. The big change, I think, that pushed Algeria's team result over the top was also having now, for the first time, Jenna Laroui, who was the 2023 French all-around champion, was definitely in the mix, close to making the Paris Olympic team. Based on how things went, maybe actually dodged a bullet in retrospect, but she has been a top French elite for a number of years. She's now representing Algeria as well. In her first year representing Algeria, she got 2 golds, a silver, and 2 bronze in this competition. Added that second score that Algeria would need on a lot of events to put up a competitive, more than competitive. They dominated the team competition, a total. So Algeria qualified a team. On the women's side, typically it's been either Egypt or South Africa getting the African Championships continental quota spot for a while now. But Algeria has so many top elites now that they kind of blew everyone out of the water in the women's competition this year.
And I kind of love the former colonized countries of France, Belgium, Netherlands, the United States, whatever. Are we formerly colonizing everyone? No, I think we're still actively as the United States.
If you then become a colonizer yourself, you kind of cede, I think, the ability to call yourself a colonized nation.
Oh, but I do love that this, like, not a resurgence, this, like, it's kind of an
emergence.
Thank you. The emergence of these teams makes me very happy. Back to coaching carousel. Ryan Roberts went from Georgia to Auburn. He's the head coach with Asia Sims Fletcher.
Yeah, she's not co-head coaching like at
wasn't she?
Like at Georgia, but she's like associate. There's so many titles. It's it's associate, it's assistant, it's all payment tiers. But Asia Sims, who has experience as a head coach at Talladega, and then is now joining Auburn, so an experienced choice. Because she's been through a lot of different environments already, even though I'm like, you're still an athlete, right? You're still on the Alabama team. You have great straddle jumps. Asia Sims.
And then Marissa King, who was a British elite, was at Florida when they won, and has coached a bunch of places, but was last at Georgia with her husband, from Ukraine, Alexei. So they have been removed from the coaching roster at Georgia, but they have not landed anywhere. So they are not, as of this recording, hired at any of the job openings all over the place that are happening right now. So I'm like, oh, are they going back to England? Are they gonna go to MSU? I mean, it is like, if you want to coach together, you gotta find 2 spots. MSU has 2 spots. Several teams have 2 spots right now open. So, let's see. Nicole Jones and is the new head coach at Nebraska, and she hired Devin, right, from MSU. So MSU has no other coaches. It's Mike Rowe. He's the one that's there right now.
And he extended his contract.
Yeah. Through 2029. Carly Dockendorf at U2.
At YouTube.
She's
YouTube creator and part-time college gymnastics head coach Carly Dockendorf. Yeah.
She has an extension through 2031. Georgia added Megan Hott, who was at Denver. What was her Woga name? What was her non-married name? What was her gymnastics name? Megan. I can't remember, but you guys recognize her from the Woga days.
Dowland?
Dowland, yeah. She's from the Nikki and what? There's that whole crew that like made Woga. Then everybody fell in love with them. One that went to UCLA that was like this tall that tore her hamstring and then could never really get it back. Was such a great dancer, and I'm doing her choreography right now. She had to do it. People requested it so much. She did an exhibition after a meet just to show it. It's not Elise Hoffner-Hibbs. It's
Nikki Tom.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't Woga. No, you said Nikki and UCLA, and I was trying to think of Nikki at UCLA.
Lindsay Vanden Eykel.
Okay, so not Nikki.
No, Nikki was the Georgia gymnast who was also anyway.
Nikki
you guys, Nikki Childs, yes, with the greatest mount ever done in college gymnastics. So Arizona, Murder Piggy, Arizona hired Julie Ballard. So Julie Ballard last coached at Georgia with her former husband, Jay Clark.
Yes, when Suzanne left, Jay took over as head coach, and Julie was an assistant coach on the staff.
Okay. Athlete transfers.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ondine and Maya Wiley.
So Ondina Champong and Maya Wiley. You may know from the time this season when Ondine appeared on College and Cocktails, and Maya Wiley also came into the chat because they're best friends. And it was great. They're both transferring from Cal to Stanford, which is a big development. Rough for Cal because they were kind of getting through with a fairly limited roster this past season anyway. With the Crandall Howells moving to Clemson, some people went with them, transfer, commits change and all of that stuff. And now two top gymnasts, Maya Wiley, who was competing on two events this past season, Ondine, who has constantly injured, but has the potential to be an amazing college gymnast who is perfect, are both transferring and did not mince words, kind of mince words in their statement, but made it clear that they were not happy with what was happening at Cal as part of the reason for transferring.
Wanted to be part of a program where they felt heard. And they thought that would be that Stanford was the right choice for them, it's so interesting because basically they're going an hour away to the rival school, but also the other Ivy League of the West Coast school in California.
And when we talked to Ondine, I asked her about did you consider transferring to Clemson when the coaches left? And she was like, no, I came for the degree. I came to get a degree from a top university. So it doesn't surprise me that she was the transfer opportunity came around and she was like, oh, Stanford. Yeah, I'll go to Stanford. I don't think she would have been interested in going to many different other schools in transferring, but obviously Stanford has the kind of the academic and degree that she's looking for.
And the sports level, because she could...
all in one, yes.
Right, because she could have gone to probably Yale too, but she was like, yeah, I want to be on one of the, top teams, and she is. So there is... Well, we'll put a full list of all the transfers and what's happening on our website in the show notes. But I think,
the other one that's very interesting to me is Ariel Posen, who was she was on the Georgia roster for one season, did not compete, as presumably had retired, but is still has eligibility and is transferring to LSU. And I find that very interesting.
Yeah. Because she's an elite. Good. it's also sometimes like if you're going to be on a specific team, you want to make sure you're going to compete. And so maybe, that's the thing. Although LSU is stacked, so they could field a whole other team of people who don't make the roster. But you want to be.
And also contextually, Ariel Posen was an elite at MG Elite.
Yes,
coached by Maggie Haney, which is also part of the whole process.
Yeah. Romanian update. So
yeah.
Also, did you see that the Romanian Gymnastics Federation put out a thing on Instagram that said fake news? And it was because there's like a Nadia meet and they said they were associated with the Federation, and the Federation's like, no, we're not. But by putting out an Instagram post that says fake news stamped on it, I was like,
yeah. You feel there's a little Streisand effect-y going on there.
Right. That's a choice.
Yeah.
So anywho, but so Ana Bărbosu, floor bronze medalist from the Paris Olympics, Stanford gymnast. She was not found. So she has a whereabouts violation, and she's facing a suspension for a whereabouts violation. And this is basically like when you're in the doping portal. That's what I'm going to call it. When you're an active athlete, you have to be in a doping portal, and that means you have to tell.
Or the the testing portal.
Yes, not actually doping. They're testing you.
Doping portal makes it seem like it's recommended.
It's the anti-doping portal where you basically have to like always tell WADA where you are at all times for your entire life. But Bărbosu was not found 3 times by anti-doping agents to be tested within a 12-month period and now faces discipline. So this is according to the Romanian Insider. Bărbosu was reportedly not found by agency representatives once in Romania and twice in the United States, which automatically triggered disciplinary hearings against her. And this is not uncommon. Many athletes have whereabouts violations. It just doesn't make the news until it's so many that
it's 3 because 3 is the thing where it becomes a problem. This is Yule Moldauer, most recently in the United States, was suspended for the same thing, whereabouts violations.
Yeah. So she's not yet suspended, and she has a right to defend herself. So she has a Romanian federation is helping her with this, and then also a Stanford attorney. Stanford is helping with this, and Stanford has the same attorney who helped. There's like a tennis player that had the same thing. The one that did a back handspring on the court. What's her name? I think it's her. The one Nadia loves, and she's always going to her things.
I feel like there has been a top Romanian tennis player named Simone Halep.
I think that's her.
I think you are conflating several different people.
Romanians. Okay. Anyway, it's the same one that they helped the tennis player, and it was successful. So I think she will probably be fine. If the federation goes to bat for you, you're generally fine. Because if there's this was not her fault, this had to do with us, or the school this is not her fault, this had to do with us, which is part of what happens when you're on a team. When you're like, yeah, we're practicing here, and they're like, no, you're not. Today we're going to do beam routines in the cafeteria, or we're zip lining. This is what happens around a college team.
Beam routines in the cafeteria and zip lining, those are the 2 things.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Before we get to the meet news and talk about all the things, including how teams have to qualify to the World Championships this year, because no one's qualified yet.
No one's qualified yet, you guys.
We have some updates for you. So first, we did a live show with Chae Campbell at NCAA Championships, and she talked about all the things, you guys, all the things. And you can still get replay tickets for that show. So here's a little trailer of some of the games we played, the things she talked about, and there is a lot of yelling and jumping around because that's what happens at the live shows. And the clue that was passed on was ass lighting. Here's the trailer.
Going past the line on Fuller. Out of bounds. Skip.
They made it to Final Four, but no one kind of expected it.
Minnesota. Brooklyn Moors.
Oh, December's. Yes,
I want to know what your thoughts are on the growing trend of 2-pass routines.
Yeah, it was a time. I knew that it wasn't for me to train in that environment. So I said peace and moved on and still succeeded. So
Let's talk about your UCLA era. Because you went through the whole, it's like a full Taylor Swift, all the albums.
this is actually really the first time that I'm even really talking about it, to be honest, like in full. So
dynamics, team culture, what it was like being on the team in that 2022 season, Chris's last season there, and maybe just an inside look for those of us who were outside and on what was going on inside the team.
No one could actually tell them, yes, she said this. You know, you're either team this person or team that person. Yeah, there's a easy answer and a more complex answer to that. And I wanted to hear from the source what this interview was about. To me, the motives changed and I didn't want any part of that. But my coaches were not racist, and that's the narrative that was kind of put out there. So I didn't agree with that. And it ruined the guy's career. It ruined people's careers. And I felt like, unfortunately, I was part of this like era that was not living up to that.
Just how you're handling talking about this shows so much of your character and integrity. I think.
Thank you. Yeah. That means a lot. We were talking, a pro league, hello? Yes. Like, and sign me up, actually. We're gonna step out, we're gonna swing our arms. Here. Tap, tap, tap. Out.
Who hosts this event right here?
Gymnastics.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, this finishes our FOMO segment for those of you at home. Come here next year.
If you want to know more about the fun things that go on, we have a club. It's called Club Gym Nerd, and you can join it. And you get access to things like our behind the scenes show, which we returned to this past Friday and gave our first takes about the hot news like Jordyn Wieber or what video games I've been playing and other important things that we're talking about. So if you want to be part of that, it's merely $5.99 a month at gymcastic.com. You get our full archive, all our games, discounts on live shows, and it makes a great gift. So you can join the club at gymcastic.com, get merch at the Gymcastic store, and everything else you might want to find. So check it out.
The meat news.
There's so much meat news. We have to catch up on so much. So let's get into it. We talked about the big headline from the African Championships, which was Algeria qualifying a women's team, Kaylee and Nemour winning the everythings. But particularly, as we dive deep, I want to talk about the in-bar layout to Tkachev half that she did in the bars final, which would be prospectively the Nemour 3. We always have to wait on the FIG and whether they decide to see whatever, but we have the Nemour 1, which is the in-bar layout to Tkachev, which she's been doing. Earlier this year, she performed the in-bar straddled to Tkachev with half turn, which is also an original skill. And now part 3, in-bar layout to Tkachev, half turn. Insane. And also kind of looks easy for her.
It's so nuts.
It's
okay,
nuts.
So
she is nuts. That's established.
It totally is. So it's an in-bar Stalder Nabieva with a half turn.
With a half turn. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's what I have to say about that. Also, So World's equipment is on Spieth, interestingly, not Gymnova this year in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how that affects people, especially on bars. But she is very good at like adjusting her tension. And it might be better for her because the high bar is not tilted.
And Spieth has typically used at many top competitions now. It didn't really used to be that way. So I don't think that should be like gymnasts are accustomed to getting used to a major competition that uses Spieth, I think, at this point.
And I just think it's a good because a lot of athletes don't like Gymnova, especially the beam with the fakey sides. This is.
I'm sure there will be some kind of equipment drama because there's never not. But
with the equipment drama, it's the difference between feeling like confident, I can do this, and being like, if I do this, my foot's going to slip and I'm going to die immediately.
Or if it's just going to be dripping on the beam, or there's a fire under the podium, or whatever nonsense usually happens.
Rotterdam. It will be like a giant boat comes through the wall. That would be.
We need an opening ceremony is what we need, where we emphasize like someone like rides a bike. Everyone has to ride a bike in, except that's horrible because bikes are the devil. Obviously, this has been established. They're monstrous.
Oh, I'm terrible at riding a bike.
I don't do it.
No, I'm
bike. Get it out of here.
Yeah, my
Burn
only scar.
Walk or don't go anywhere. Those are the rules. Anyway, Kaeli Nemour won gold on bars in the final, did the in-bar layout to Tkachev half, fell on her double layout full, which she went for the double layout full dismount, fell, still won by almost a point because Kaeli Nemour. But she has so many options. She's showing so many different routine options so far this year of just like various teaser trailers. She's released like 5 teaser trailers is how I feel like it is with Kaelia's bars this year. And we'll see
the best way to put it.
Yeah, we'll see what she ends up releasing for when, her debut, the full thing debut at Worlds. But what's really interesting is I love that she has all of these things, but kind of has, even though she's so much better than almost everyone else, she really has to keep pushing herself on bars because she's getting pushed by young Fanyuwei. Did you see her bars at Oceanic, which was one of the most, she got a 15.266 for that. So Nemour has had 15.566 this year. Young got 15.266. She did the layout Jaeger in her bars routine. She did a downy that's maybe the best toe point I've ever seen on a downy ever. And her toe point on her dismount too. I was like, there's so much of Young's routine where I'm like, this is perfect. It is not like there's half the skills in your routine. I'm like, it's not possible to do them better. That's getting really exciting.
When people are, especially because we just came out of NCAA season, when people are like, there's nothing wrong with her, Regina was so perfect. And I'm like, her feet were literally flexed from the time she released the bar until she grabbed it again. Or she released the bar until she landed. Pointed toes is not a suggestion. Literally what you have to do to not get a deduction. See,
this is the experience I was having because I promised the listeners after NCAAs that I would rewatch routine by routine at Oklahoma and LSU to see what I thought about it. I ended up coming up with Oklahoma winning by 1/10. It was like the same I came up with largely the same margins, but all of my totals were more than a point lower than the scores that were actually given. And I was thinking about that. I was like, the margins were the same, just all of my scores were so much lower. And I was like, because my attitude is, if I see a skill and I'm like, is that the best anyone's ever done? And if the answer is no, which the answer was no for every single skill anyone did at NCAA Nationals, because it's not the best it's ever done, then you figure out why it's not the best that's ever been done, and you deduct for the reason. And that's why I think every score should be a 9-1. And no one ever gets a 10, because I'm like, was every skill in this routine the best anyone's ever done it? Then that's not a 10. And this is why I don't agree with NCAA scoring, and will always be a problem regardless.
Who else qualified from African Championships?
Yeah, so qualifying to Worlds, the one team, but 5 additional all-around qualifiers, along with Algeria as a full team. So the all-arounders were Caitlin Rosecrans, thankfully, of South Africa, Naveen Darius of South Africa, Judy Abdullah of Egypt, who was also signed for Illinois, so potential, we'll see her in NCAA, Yana Mahmoud of Egypt, and Selena Bousmayo of Morocco. We had a couple per country victims. Zelma Darius, Naveen's younger sister of South Africa, who we have seen at many competitions over the years, did not qualify. Yana Abdel Salam of Egypt, who we've also seen for many years, did not qualify. They have points in the World Cup circuit. I think probably not enough, but so we're starting to see the winnowing of the field, which will continue in the coming weeks and months as we have other continental championships. But yeah.
And
there are some specific pathways, but we will also see many good athletes who will not qualify to Worlds because of the way the qualification system works.
And if you want to keep up with the point system for qualifying to Worlds, it is up on the FIG site, and the FIG is now called World Gymnastics.
We'll get used to that in maybe 17 years.
So let's talk about the World Championships implications on the qualification system for Rotterdam.
So the big thing to keep in mind this year is that there will be 24 teams at Worlds, but all of them must qualify through the Continental Championships this year. So no one is pre-qualified to Worlds. No one is entitled to anything. No one has an automatic spot. Every country has to take their Continental Championship seriously. You can't phone it in. You can't be like, let's send the C team to get experience. Largely, you need to send the people. You have to earn your spots. For the women, another 56. There will be 56 quota spots for all-arounders, and then 8 per apparatus from the World Cup qualifying series, which already is completed, but we don't know who needs the spots yet. So we know what the standings are, but a lot of people, like Karina Schoenmeier, is in the vault standings. Well, presumably Germany's going to qualify a team, and she's not going to need that spot. So we don't know who's qualifying for it, but we know the list. And we'll see. Up next, Oceanic Championships this very weekend, where another 1 team and 2 all-arounders will qualify to Worlds. I'm very excited because Georgia Godwin was announced for the Australian team. That's cool. She's there. Courtney McGregor, our beloved Courtney McGregor, is on the New Zealand team. Dr. McGregor.
Dr. McGregor, who's
Dr. McGregor, MD.
The doctor. Yes. This is my dream. We have Elsa Hertz and Courtney McGregor, the doctors, and we have a white coat interview with them at Rotterdam. Mm-hmm. I've already planned it with them. So
let's get it done.
Also, I would just like to emphasize here again, in case people don't know, when they're in New Zealand or they want to sponsor a gymnast, New Zealand does not pay for their athletes to go to any of these competitions. And let me repeat, that does not pay their costs. So a medical student doing her, whatever, I don't know what stage she's in, but white coat stage. She has to come up with the money to travel to this meet or travel to Worlds if she qualifies. So if there's any sponsors out there for any New Zealand athletes who's maybe a doctor, I'm just tampon sponsorships. What are those called that you listen to people's hearts with? Stethoscope sponsorship, whatever.
I mean, I feel like for all the tourism money that New Zealand gets for Lord of the Rings weirdos, there should be a portion of that set aside specifically for Courtney McGregor.
Weta,
I don't think this is irrational, is what I'm saying. I think that's a totally normal thing. Part of everyone who does a destination Lord of the Rings wedding in New Zealand, Courtney McGregor should get 5%.
Oh my God, Stephen Colbert is now, since his show was canceled by fascism, he is now writing a new Lord of the Rings movie, which is going to be the nerdiest Lord of the Rings with so many songs in it. What if it's a Weta Colbert collaboration? Lord of the Rings sponsors Courtney McGregor, and she can take one of their tiny figurines of an orc, but or an elf, and it travels with her. And this is the sponsorship. You guys, we figured it out.
Figured it out again.
Have a Weta contact. I can make this happen. I'm just gonna tell my friend, but.
Continuing to remain on topic, the Oceanic Championships are on May 9th. The seniors compete at 1 p.m. Brisbane time because they're in Brisbane. Elevian, the app, said they were covering it.
We highly recommend.
If anyone can tell me why Elevian does not work for me, I would love to know. But I try to verify my account. I can't do it. It doesn't work. I can't use it.
Let me contact them for you.
I don't actually want to have to talk to anyone, so it's not worth it. Please
Spencer,
don't.
You know that this is why I exist for you. We have a contact there. I will. They definitely want you to have access, and
I put my phone number in to get the confirmation text, and I never get a confirmation text.
Rude. So rude.
This is what I'm saying, Olivia. Obviously, it's going to be the most obvious setting on your phone that I have wrong or turned off, and they're going to be like,
wait, do you know that our phones have this new area where all the numbers that aren't in your contacts go to the separate side of your messages?
Yes, I have checked that.
Oh, okay, good.
I didn't go that far. Don't worry.
The most obvious thing? Good. You've checked that. Okay.
That's not the problem. Don't worry.
So, Spencer, Mother's Day is coming up. And I don't know if I've ever told you that my mom grew up in a back to nature, anti-capitalist conscious community in Vermont.
Yes, and when you told me that, I was like, oh, and another piece of the puzzle has fallen into place for my understanding of Jessica. Yes.
Did I tell you that my grandparents built the house she grew up in themselves by hand with the help of 2 giant draft horses?
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. This is what they did when they graduated from college. They hitchhiked for their honeymoon to this place where they then did everything on their own with their own 2 hands and built a house. So these are just some of the details that I learned when my mom actually did the StoryWorth project. And StoryWorth, if you don't know about it, each week StoryWorth sent my mom a question about her life, and she responded. And she could respond either by writing an email, or she could do a voice recording, or new this year, there's a guided phone call. So no apps, logins, no tech hassle. And she did by the emails. Like, she just saw her email with the question. I love that we could actually pick the questions. Like, there are some questions that they help and guide you, which I never would have thought of. There's pre-written questions, or you can write your own, which I did too, because I was like, wait, tell me about, like, you said something about someone that owned a newspaper, and at the end of the year you get this beautiful hardcover book. And then through the book I learned that we had a family member who was some kind of like newspaper mogul in Kansas. It's a really nice hardcover book, and she picked photos for it. And she has thought of this as like, oh, the book we will pass on to, you know, her granddaughters, etc., so they can know the story of her life. And so basically, StoryWorth puts together all of her answers to these questions that you help ask.
And more than 50,000 5-star reviewers agree it will be a treasure your family will love. New this year is StoryWorth's Unlimited plan. Buy it once, and you'll be able to give StoryWorth memoirs to friends and family all year. Plus, it comes with all their newest features and multiple full-color book copies. That means you can get all your Mother's Day gifts for your mom, grandma, and any mom figures in your life, plus take care of Father's Day while you're at it. So this year, give mom a gift that helps her reflect on her life with fresh perspective and gives your whole family the gift of her stories. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Order right now and save up to $20 at storyworth.com/gymcastic. Save up to $20 at storyworth.com/gymcastic. storyworth.com/gymcastic.
New bars elements. Very interesting. New bars elements.
Fascinating.
And
So
this,
yeah,
guys,
it's not just
World
Kalia.
Cups are where you go to do.
Yeah.
So finally, they invented women are allowed to get things named after themselves because they weren't for years. Never forget.
Never forget. So World Gymnastics confirmed 3 new elements on bars at Oceanic. First, we talked about on behind the scenes, because I couldn't believe that it didn't already exist. Gabriela Rodrigues Bărbosu of Brazil did a Stalder front pike half bars dismount, got it to her feet, therefore got it named after herself. And this is the kind of thing where I had to ask Jessica. I was like, how did someone not get this named in the 80s? But then we kind of got to a point of they weren't doing it from Stalders.
Stalder.
Toe on, everybody in college is doing. And Stalder, I will say, Amari Celestine at Missouri did do it, but not in elite. She did it in college. But so yeah, that's new. I want to know what you think about Atanasia Masiri of Greece's bars dismount. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yes, it is a free hip front layout. And I watched this several times because I watched the first time. I was like, that's not a layout. But it's an optical illusion because it really is, because her hips are open. When I talk about hips being open or else it's a deduction, her hips are open to the point of she's doing like a tight arch front layout, but her knees are bent the entire time, like almost 45 degrees. So it looks
We're
weird.
not saying it's deduction free.
Yeah, it's not deduction free. But at first I was like, wait, that's not a layout. And then I was like, oh, it totally is a layout just with bent knees, but her hips are totally open. I think this has the potential. I love that she got this named because this has the potential to be such a beautiful dismount. And also the kind that makes people gasp because you're like, whoa! And then she flips over.
It is your favorite. A front layout is your favorite vault.
It is.
So if you can do it from a clear hip as a bars dismount, you get Yang Yoon on this. It's over.
Yang Yoon would make this so absolutely beautiful. And do you know what I have always ready here at Gymtastic? I always have a Yang Yoon in the ready to put up on the screen at any time because Flying Banana Jesus is the way. That was a May 4th reference, in case you didn't get it.
Also, the Hamelin, Roman Hamelin of France, probably butchering the name, but what else is new? A toe-on pack. So she's doing a toe circle release, and then it's a pack salto to the low bar, which is a C. I was very interested to learn that it got a C value. The pack is a D. What do you think about this and that value?
And I understand why this is a C. I think this is really cool and inventive, and I think it's pretty too, and it's unexpected. I think it's a C because if you do this in a specific way, you can almost stop yourself and see the bar earlier. Like you have more control in a way doing it this way. So if you think about, I have my toes on the bar, I shoot, and then I'm already halfway to the low bar. When in like there is part of it that makes me feel like that's why it's a C. It's just
because you don't have to do like a full salt, like a giant swing to a full salt layout salto to grab the low bar. Yeah.
But there's also part of me that's like, I can also see this is a little bit scarier in some ways, but because I feel like you're actually just coming down harder on the low bar. Like there's more velocity from a different angle coming down. I mean, it depends. There's a lot of different techniques in how you could do this. And obviously you have to actually shoot your toes off and get to that handstand. But I really like the way she did it. And I think it's a cool skill. Yeah.
It makes me just wish that the code were not designed in such a way that a C is basically not worth doing.
I know. You know what?
It feels like I get what you're saying about why it would be a C, but it feels like there's this like clear plateau of like, oh, if this new skill gets valued at a C, it's like, pfft, like it just got thrown in the garbage. Because why would you do a C?
Yeah.
But if it's a D, it's like, whoa, everyone's going to start doing this.
Yep.
Anyway,
what I would like to see is, okay, what is the name for, I have a whole combination ready for this to make it an E.
Got it.
Okay, so what is the shoot through to the low bar called? It's a shooty boop. It's a two names hyphenated. Where you shoot to the low bar. It was done at 2017 or 2015 Worlds where the Georgia May Fenton Durwal was made. It's not there.
Okay, I don't know what you're describing.
A Schleudern.
That is from the 70s.
Yeah, and then it was added, and then someone did it and got it.
I mean, Ruby Harold did a Zuchold Schleudern. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yes. So
it was not named. It's an oldie skill that remained an oldie skill. Got it. Yes. But Ruby Harold famously kind of brought it back into vogue for a second, and then no one else ever did it.
Yeah, because she was inventive and very fun. And it's basically where you're facing away from the low bar. You shoot your legs through in a stalder position towards the low bar. So that's a stoop through. So, and then I want to combine this. So then you shoot, let go with one arm, 1.5 pirouette. So it's a flip now with 1.5 turn to the low bar. So you're doing the toe pack essentially with no toes on the bar. It's not a pack at all. You're doing a shoot to the low bar with 1.5 turns.
The thing that I'm imagining you describing based on your words is is AI slop. Is what your words have created in my mind, because that's like those gymnastics videos that people create that are just like, no one believes she did this skill, and her leg is on her head and then it falls off or something, and you're like, yeah, I don't believe that.
Okay, imagine who was the Florida gymnast that did the 1.5 shoot over in college.
I think you're Laurie Strong Ballard.
Laurie Strong Ballard,
yeah.
But you do a stoop through into it. You do a Zuchold Schleudern into a 1.5 bail to the low bar.
Okay, I understand.
Which is not a pack and not a toe on, but this is how I imagine.
It's nothing, but I like that you went there. Mhm.
If that's not a D, riot. Burn the coach down.
Yeah. Fair.
So
fair
ending
point.
the fantasy skills portion of the show, let's talk about Russia.
Yeah. Russian Cup happened. Anna Kalmikova won the all-around title. Ludmila Roshchina was second. Angelina Melnikova was third. The podium, not a surprise. They have been the top. They are the current kind of top 3 all-arounders in Russia, and once again, I think are making it clear that they're the leaders of the team. Victoria Listunova did compete only on bars, won the bars title. She is still not on the list of permitted athletes, permitted neutral Russians athletes, but she did compete at Russian Cup, did bars, won the bars event title.
And just a little follow up on that. So she is not allowed because she participated when she was still a minor in that giant like anti-Nazi rally that Putin held. And so she was there with a medal, and that is part of why she's not allowed. It was Komova who appeared in the video with the kidnapped Ukrainian kids, but the Stunova is the one that did the rally. So I think because of that, she probably won't, but she said that they're still trying to appeal her neutral status.
I mean, anyone who wants to appeal on the grounds of inconsistency, I feel like has an argument because it all feels very inconsistent.
Yeah.
But Kalmikova, Roshchina, Melnikova all competed at Worlds last year, are remaining in the top. I felt like the overscoring was not as crazy as last year.
Ooh.
It was still, I mean, it was definitely, we're forgiving. We're giving some domestic help. But remember last year, we had to spend the whole year being like, Anna Kalmikova has the highest all-around score of the year when she got a 57 at Russian Cup for a meet that was like fine. It was like 55s instead of 57s all-around scores this time. So I was like, okay, I can deal with this a little bit more.
Oh, we have some breaking news. Please hold Russia for a moment. Thanks, fact checker, for being on the breaking news.
Ooh.
That Natalie Broekman, who was already on the coaching staff at BYU, but they parted ways with their head coach. She is now the head coach, and she's been coaching there from 2015. Yeah.
An in-house hire.
Yeah. I hope she's getting all the money because, you know, they're a 3. How many is it? The NCAA and the Mormons have the same amount of budget to work with, of multi-billions. So get that paycheck. Okay. More Russia. Back to Russia.
Okay. We need to talk about the latest Russian broadcast move, because the broadcast of the Russia Cup, I'm going to say, I was a little disappointed that we did not get the routine checklist this year.
I know. Rude.
With the intended skills and the check marks once they did them.
And
but
the sound effects. Ding! Every time they did it.
You and your sound effects. We did get an animation of the vault before the vault a gymnast is about to do before she performs it, which is, I think, the latest move, the latest innovation. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, speaking of AI slop, it is accurate. Like it is
We're seeing Anna Kalmikova, if you're watching along with us, she's about to do a handspring Rudy. We see a gymnast do a handspring and maybe 1.5 twists.
Right. The thing
lands facing the right direction.
The thing about it is that clearly halfway through, a invisible coach bumps her up in the air higher for the second part of the flip. So that is
how it's supposed. You're rising. We're looking for a gymnast to rise.
Yeah. It is a little too much rise to be, accurate portrayal. But I love, this is what I have to say, you know, AI, when you tried to do gymnastics before, it was in just absolute trash. And it looked like they got disembodied and put back together in a time warp mid-skill. So this is helpful in terms of knowing what she's doing. And I love this. And I hope that we get more of this. Like, I hope that in the US and everywhere, this is the one thing from Russia that we can absolutely copy, not just hockey exports, but for the boy aquarium, but It's great because you can see the skills, so you don't have to guess. And then I want that checklist with sound effects. Nickelodeon would already have done this. When is USAG going to license to Nickelodeon? This is all I want in my life.
What I like about this is that I'm going to seriously date myself for a second. It reminds me of the Summer Olympics Atari game, vaulting. On that the gymnastics portion where you vaulted, it looks like almost exactly like that. I feel like we've hit 1980 mids, 86, whatever that came out. I wasn't playing it when it was new, just to clarify.
But okay.
Just in case anyone was worried.
Okay.
But I do remember that, and it kind of looks like it, and it makes me happy.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I think it's great.
If we want the U.S. broadcast to copy this, I will also say the Russian broadcasts are doing a solid job of copying the U.S. broadcasts, because we did have to watch Melnikova fix her makeup for like 19 hours while other people were going on other events that we could have been watching. So that was a solid nod to American innovation in gymnastics broadcasts, where we really needed to see her fix her makeup and then squint at the scoreboard and then go back to her mirror.
If copyright laws didn't exist, I would love to do a live stream where we have a Russian translator translating what they're saying on the side, and then just discuss all the things that we like about how they're broadcasting it and what we would add, and be like, NBC, see, these are the good things that you should do. That's what I would like to do. Because we never know. I mean, with Simone, when she's like, that bar routine was a piece of shit, we know immediately because she says it right into the camera and very loud. But we don't get that. And I'm sure because
that's the real influence of Simone, which I think the mainstream media doesn't understand. It's not about the Biles 1 or the Biles 2. It's about getting off the podium and going, that routine was a piece of shit.
One of her greatest moments. Okay, other meet news. We have a new star in Japan.
Oh, champion of the All Japan Championship, first-year senior, Nishiyama Misa. Dominated, won both days of the competition and the all-around title. I loved, in particular, my highlight was bars and her front in-bar to piked Jaeger. That was excellent.
My favorite part is in her, if fact checker could fast forward, if you're a visual listener or watching a little bit of this, to her beam routine, or just like halfway through this, you'll get to beam, is her body wave, shimmy her shoulders choreography on beam. So excellent. It's just, he almost went right to it. Oh my God, he's so good. I just love it. It's just like Japan is meeting expectations and beyond with the beam choreography. Full involvement of body parts. Japan's like, motherfuckers, right here. Challenge us. This is why we're winning shit. And you're not. That's
understanding that your arm movements can actually break the plane of the beam.
Yes.
Like there are angles besides horizontal or sideways. It's more north, south, and east and west. There are more directions than that for your.
And they are to be connected directly to the acrobatics and dance. They are not stand-alone motions disconnected from the gymnastics. Everything is connected in her routine. Like she'll finish a skill, but then when she starts dancing, it goes right into the next skill. Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about right here. Oh, and the side body wave and her side. Gee, show this at all the camps. This is fantastic. Okay, moving on. What should I be worried about?
Okay, I do need you to be worried. Yeah, I needed to preface or prepare worries, because just in general, I need everyone to prepare themselves for Japan to ruin your life again with their team selection procedures, as happens every year, but be prepared for it, because they are once again picking their world's team based on competitions in April and May before they've even qualified a team to the World Championships. They will have had all the competitions that are used to select the team. So this year, selection is so they did All Japan Championships, still to do NHK Cup, which will be taken into account as well. So we're not done yet, but they're going to do top 4 all around, automatically make the team of 5, and then there's one additional person for team contribution. The situation right now is Sugihara, after All Japan's Sugihara, world floor champion, is in 5th all around. Miyata Shoko's in 6th. Nakamura Haruka of the Death fame is in 8th all around, but got a 14-6 on beam the second day of All Japan Championships, which is kind of a big score. So we're in for a controversial team selection if things stay the same. Because if things stay the same after NHK, Minamino, who is a junior, we've talked about her, she's up there. She's a junior. She's not eligible to compete as a senior this year. So if things were to go the same, Sugihara would make the team with Nishiyama, Kishirina, and Okamura Mana, who we've talked about, love her on beam. They would automatically make the team. And then you'd be deciding between Miyata, Nakamura, Ushioku Kohane, who is great on vault and floor, for your other spot. So there's it's very well set up for maybe one of your favorite gymnasts to be left off the team in a heartbreaking fashion, is what I'm saying.
This is why the team should be 10 people, and then you just decide in the moment who's ready to go up. That's what I would like. What meets should we look forward to, and should we plan on watching because they have World Championships implications?
As mentioned, Oceanic Championships are this weekend. Also this weekend, Varna World Cup. This is a World Challenge Cup, not an Apparatus World Cup. Once again, Gymnastics very helpfully names all of its competitions almost the exact same thing, so you don't know what any of them is. Whether it's World Gymnastics or it's USAG, every competition is almost the same name, and you're like, what is this? We did the Apparatus World Cups, which are the ones that qualify you to Worlds. The Challenge Cups are just, go to a meet, ranking points, prize money, but it doesn't have World Championships implications. Varna is a Challenge Cup. Max Whitlock was on the initial roster. Abby Martin, Jennifer Williams, Sweden Stanford, was on the initial roster. We'll see how things shake out, but that would be very exciting. So those are both this weekend. Later this month, NHK Cup to finish Japanese selection, Chinese championships, Serie A final in Italy, Canadian championships, and a couple more Challenge Cups, Tashkent and Koper. And then we get into more of our qualifying events for Worlds in June. That's Pan Ams and Asian championships to decide their teams. Then in July, it's Commonwealth Games. It's a Commonwealth Games year. They're in Glasgow. Once again, I note that no one has offered us an all expenses paid trip to Scotland to watch the Commonwealth Games / be in Scotland
in a second.
And I assume this is some kind of an oversight.
Obviously.
But I'm just saying it hasn't happened. Also in July, US Classic, and then August. Not until August is the European Championships, which I think is weird, but that's in August, and the US Nationals. So this is kind of the basic framework to look forward to.
And again, if you'd like to get in touch with us to send us to the Commonwealth Games, email us at gymtastic@gmail.com. We are
only inquire if you are willing to pay all expenses.
We will wear your woolen socks. They are the best socks. I still have them from 2015 Worlds. You look like they're brand new. We will do tourism spots. We are fans.
Yeah.
We are big fans of Scotland, and we would like to go. Okay, so Gymternet news. Just when you thought it was safe to not pay any attention to politics or what's happening in your local community, the flock cameras have come to spy on you. Why does this have anything to do with gymnastics? Well, an independent journalist noticed all these flock cameras around and was like, I think there might be a vulnerability, was able to very easily get into the flock cameras, look around wherever he will access flock cameras. These are cameras that are like on a street corner. They're all around cities, essentially, and they are monitoring. So think of them like what's the thing on your doorbell that people use so Amazon can spy on you?
A ring cam?
Ring camera. Yeah, those, it's like that, but your local government is using them. So during a security demonstration, the presenters who were saying, hey, buy flock, here, let's show you what we have. They accessed cameras in a children's gymnastics room and a swimming pool of the Marcus Jewish Community Center in Atlanta. Why would they pick a children's gymnastics center and a swimming pool? So not only did these not have good security, there are also concerns that the flock employees are accessing these cameras for these purposes. So flock have been accessing sensitive cameras in the Dunwood, Georgia area to demonstrate the company's surveillance technology to police departments around the country. So this is per 404 Media, who I highly recommend. If you don't follow them on Instagram, is a great place to get the quick news. We have a Stanford gymnast came out, Cooper Kim, on the men's team, won the NCAA title on floor exercise, and the team obviously won. And he came out as gay and super stoked to see how much publicity he's getting too. Other out gymnasts competed as well, but I love that he feels safe to do that. Some dumpster fire news for you to know about. And then we have some good news to tell you.
Okay.
The dumpster fire news, let's get it out of the way.
Dumpster fire news, Barry in the middle.
Right.
Little good stuff, dumpster fire. Then a little good stuff.
So the Chow's coach who was arrested for CSAM, which we used to call child pornography, and now we call it CSAM. Sean Gardner has pled guilty. He worked at Chow's from 2018 to 2022. Safe Sports suspended Gardner from coaching in July 2022. In August 2025, he was charged with producing child pornography by criminal complaint. And then Gardner's attorneys filed notice of his intent to change his plea to guilty on 3 specific counts. And that is how you plead down. You admit to what you did, because if the feds have you, you're fucked. And you will. The feds never lose. Taiwanese coach suspended for 2 years. Wang Shihong, former gymnastics coach of Taiwanese Olympic bronze medalist Tang Chi-hung, has been suspended for 2 years by National Taiwan Normal University following an investigation into allegations of bullying students. Also, Mailu Sung-han, Wang's assistant, had her contract terminated and won't be eligible for employment for another 2 years. So we don't often hear about these stories. Also, Taiwan is a little bit different. So I'm glad that news is out. We have the Hall of Fame class for USA Gymnastics, the class of 2026. Courtney McCool Griffith for artistic gymnastics, Olympic team, silver medalist from Athens.
Correct.
Kara Aker for artistic, world bronze medalist on beam. Logan Dooley for TNT, Camilla Freely for rhythmic, Marin and Jessica for acro. Which acro needs more. If you guys are going to any of these meets and you get to see acros near you, watch an acro meet, because it's, besides TNT, such a fun, incredible meets to watch. So, U.S. Olympic trials, we have a location, not Alabama, thank God. So we knew that TNT and rhythmic were going to be in Louisville. So we're going back to the Yum Yum.
The next week?
It's June 16th and 19th, 2028. That seems.
I feel like they're like separated by a week, which I think is
I see what you're saying.
Planning your trip. It's like a span of 2 weeks. I would love to be like, ideally you would have the other events at a time when artistic is not going on, and the people who travel for artistic can be like, and also this. Let's go check out this thing that I've never watched in person before, and then I'm into.
Yeah, I wish.
But anyway, I'm sure it's logistically too much of a challenge to do that, but it's what I would like.
I love it when they were together, and I wish they would continue to be together. But I also think they were only together because of COVID. But they were literally on the same floor, separated by a big curtain, because everyone should be exposed to those, and they're really great. So June 16th and 19th is artistic in Louisville in 2028.
The V in Louisville is a straddle position on the logo, is what I have to tell you about.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay. So it's a one-handed handstand in straddle position for the V. Is it giving gymnastics or is it giving a splatter paint accident? I can't decide.
Can it be both? Why
Yeah.
can't it be both?
From far away, I can see that it might not look gymnastics, but I think close up it does look like gymnastics. We'll have to find out if people saw it and were like, wait, what's happening here? I am bummed it's not in Minneapolis again, because that was a great town and great experience. So there's been a schedule change. The Olympic Council of Asia has agreed to begin coordinating a shift of the Summer Asian Games the year before the Olympics instead of the traditional slot 2 years before the Games. So if approved, the Doha 2030 Asian Games would move to 2031. Riyadh 2034 would move to 2035. So, in case you're planning on going to those.
In case
Now you
you consider 2035 a real year instead of obviously a fiction, we're not alive in 2035. That doesn't happen.
We're going to be alive in 2035. The aliens will let us live. Okay. Nadia received the Laureus Lifetime Achievement Award. It was presented to her by Simone Biles. And it was so nice. Nadia, in her speech, she said, Bart, thank you for rescuing me. You rescued me. It was so sweet. We don't often see she doesn't often, you see that he's obsessed with her, but you don't see a lot of her feelings for him. And that was just beautiful that she said that. And he was up there with her with a lot of other people. Simone wore what I would describe as it was like a dress that was gold, and it was somewhere in between a swan and a bursting star was her dress.
Okay. So you're saying Simone wore an exploding swan and this isn't front page news?
It was very avant-garde. It was very Met Gala adjacent, but not ugly. All the Met Gala things are generally ugly. It's art. It's not.
But keep it pretty.
Right. It was really it was really different. It was very, statement-y, I would say. Yeah. Jordan Childs is the AAI winner for NCAAs, joining Vanessa Zamarripa, Jamie Dancher, Mohini Bhardwaj, and Donna Kemp.
As other UCLA gymnasts.
Yeah, that have won that award. Yeah. We have a fantasy winner from our NCAA Championships fantasy game. Whoa. Lily the Bruce, Queen of Scots. You have won a mini commission. Congratulations. We'll be reaching out to all the winners from the regular season league and regionals to start the process of handing out our awards and prizes. And the next fantasy game will be, stay tuned. We'll let you know. World Cup, maybe.
EBD.
Perhaps.
Spoiler. Blind item.
Yes, we don't know yet. Maybe classic. We'll see. So remember, you can still get your live show replay tickets with Chae Campbell and enjoy that live show, even if you couldn't make it in person or live for the stream. And behind the scenes this week will be at noon Pacific, where we answer all of your questions live, or you can send us emails at gymcast@gmail.com. And until Friday, remember to take off on gay, split on rights. Thanks for listening.
If you want to know more about what happens on behind the scenes, here's a little taste. Well, I was saying, we should, I wanted to have more behind the scenes to say about, Chae's live show or, how it came to be or what we talked about, but there's kind of not a story there.
Welcome to Gymcastic Behind the Scenes. This is the weekly Q&A podcast that we do to answer your questions for our Club Gym Nerd members who support us all year long. There's been some inaccurate discussion of how the live show works online, so we just wanted to address that.
Well, I was saying, we I wanted to have more behind the scenes to say about like Chae's live show or like how it came to be or what we talked about, but there's kind of not a story there. Like Jessica, a few days before, schedules are really weird. You were like, oh, Chae's gonna be there. Chae wants to do the live show. I was like, great. Is she, we can talk about choreography, all of these things. Is she gonna want to do talk about like what happened at UCLA and Chris Waller? And Jessica was like, that'll be up to Chae. So she was kind of like, we were kind of like, I don't know, whatever, how she's feeling. That'll be up to her, what she feels comfortable with. Jessica does a pre-interview with everyone, before, here's what we're going to say, here's what we're going to talk about. And you were like, is this something you'd want to? Do you feel comfortable with this? Chae's like, yeah, I have something to say. I want to talk about it. And then we were like, okay, here's prompt, go. And so that's kind of how things worked out. And I'm like, there's not really a story. There's not like a story there. It's just like, oh, she was like, yeah, I want to talk about this. And we were like, great. I want to hear I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your story.
Yeah. And I think part of what people don't know about the live shows is part of the contract for the appearance is that the live shows are always private. They're a ticketed event. We make that recording available after and people can watch the replay if they couldn't make it live. But we can't release anything without the approval of the guest, even a trailer for the show. So that is all a process that we go through and before we put a trailer out. And it's the same process we went through with Chae for this. And like I said, like yesterday, Chae and I had a really good conversation. I called to check on her and see how she's doing because there's an athlete who just was, saw a trailer for the show and wasn't happy with what Chae said about the UCLA situation. So I just called to check on Chae, and Chae, being Chae, was like, how are you doing? I want to check on you. How are you doing? And I was like, you are so kind and such a lovely person. So we had a really great chat yesterday. And again, I was like, Chae, you should go into politics because we need women like you to save us. Some people, two things can be true at once. Like I always say, people can have different experiences. And, there's no problems with us and Chae. Chae had a positive experience. We had a positive experience. We've talked since. It continues to be positive. Yeah, everything's good on this side. I'm really looking forward to doing more live shows because, like I was talking to Chae yesterday and, just talking about what makes the live show special. And she was like, yeah, it was so fun. I had a great time. And that's how we feel too. It's something we really look forward to. And it's super stressful to put together. And it costs a lot. And, to rent these theaters and take care of our guests and make sure they have a good experience and that the people who buy the tickets and come live have a good experience. Just making it special. And we couldn't do it without our amazing, amazing volunteers who help us make it happen. And but it's just like, it's a positive thing. And people really like doing it. People like coming to the show. So that's the story about the live show. There's really no story. If you have questions, hop in here and ask us questions now, or you can email us at gymcastic@gmail.com. The subject line is behind the scenes.
Rose Catherine says, how do you qualify to the World Team Selection Camp? Can you petition? Do you have to compete at championships? Is it open to only 2026 national team members? Last month, they published the chart. I put for fact checker, I put the chart in our outline where we were, if you want to share that image with people. But they have, so you can petition. There are petition rules as normal. Top 2 all around from nationals are going to make the World Selection Camp, and then a minimum of 8 more people, which includes, people from championships and the petitioned athletes. And then they have the chart of the selection procedures as well, which is different because they're using some scores for automatic, for automatically making the team. They've changed it. It's not just who wins all around on the day one of selection camp, like how Dulcie got her spot on the team last year by winning the all around. It's going to be, it feels very like 90s, early 90s USAG. It's like 60% weighted your all around score from selection camp day one, and then 40% is your score from US Nationals. So that's going to matter more in terms of there are two automatic spots that are going to be determined that way, and then the other three are going to be from the selection committee. So it's a little different.
And I love a chart, a color-coded chart.
We have established that, yeah.
Yes, it's well done. Laurel says,
from what I read, Tanya, etc., get to choose the least restrictive of the current situation in the 5-year rule. But the Gadarova twins, for example, would only be eligible for the 5-year rule, thus 2 years of eligibility.
Talking about the new proposed rules that the NCAA came down with, which is this is out of control. We're going to just give everybody 5 years and that's it. No redshirt years, no. Yeah, you can't have, and I think they use that guy who's like 30 and has 7 PhDs, and he has done his like 9th year of eligibility, who's playing football or something. Florida, I think.
I feel like we need to have, gymnastics needs to have someone with a little power who it creates a carve out for deferring for an Olympic Games in an Olympic sport.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think that's too unnecessarily restrictive.
But the
this
thing
is like a rule made about
years,
people abusing it in football.
If you have 5 years, though, there already is a carve out. Your 5th year.
What if you defer 2 years to? What if you're supposed to start in 2027 for this is supposed to start this fall? If you're Dulcie, who I think time-wise, the people who are like Dulcie Kaler, Jayla Hang, Simone Rose age, who are supposed to start this fall, if they're like, I want to defer to pursue the LA Olympics, I think they should be able to do that and then still get their full eligibility at the end of the LA Olympics. I don't think that should be impeded, and what I don't like about this is that I think it's going to impede that.
Yeah,
that's like my reading of it, and that's kind of what I don't like about it. It is also just from a more theoretical standpoint. If you are really still trying to maintain the illusion that this is about getting an education, education is not age specific, and you are sending the message that a college education is only something you can do in your late teens and early 20s, and education is for your whole life. And we should encourage people who want to like get a college degree in their 50s to do it, even though I get that, you're probably not making it Chuso. This is what I want. I want Chuso doing college gymnastics. This is the end game for all of it.
And I mean, you can in D2 and D3. There's basically no age limit, so you can do that in D2 and D3. And I started to read the proposed rules for D1 and D3, but I think this only is D1 for now. But yeah, I think that is an important thing to remember. Like the Gadarovas I don't think they're coming here to do gymnastics. Like I think that's not going to happen. I think they had a lovely trip to see Ondine and enjoyed the US. But if you are an athlete and you want to do a sport and you're 30 and you just got out of the military and you want to use the GI Bill, you can do D2 and D3 and you can have a scholarship still. I think it's the great thing about those divisions that I feel like really enhanced my educational experience. We also had, that crazy insane guy who brought the murderer to the house, and he was one of those. Mm-hmm. But there was being in classes with people who were older, being on teams that people with were older and had like had a whole life before this was like, I love that part of it. And they also cost, with exceptions, like, the guy that brought the murder to the house, less drama on the teams than the 18.
Once again, let's talk about the exception, though. If you enjoyed that, subscribe, become a member of Club Gym Nerd, and you get this every week, whether you like it or not.